When we were talking about what we wanted to do in the season of Lúnasa, we got to talking about the races that used to happen. The chariot races, the horse races, the foot races. Brian asked, is there any way that we can incorporate that into what we're talking about? My mind immediately went to an idea from the Shambala teachings, the idea of the wind horse. Let's talk about that a little bit today on Creation's Pass. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie. I'm a non binary sci fi fantasy writer. I'm also a practicing druid and priest of Bridget. I'm joined today by my very silly husband, Brian.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Lungta, or the wind horse. I've really been trying to see if I could find a Celtic equivalent of this, or something from the Irish or Welsh, Scottish myths that would fit this kind of story. I'm struggling for that. So if you know of anything, do let me know. My experience with this idea comes from Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's Shambala, of the ideas that are presented in that book. And so I don't have the strong cultural connection to it that others would, with this appearing on various national flags and whatnot. So I want to kind of state this up front, that from my practice of Shambhala, that's where this is coming from. I mean nothing but respect to all of the communities that have a much deeper tie to this imagery than perhaps I do. In Shambhala, the Lungta, or wind horse, is defined as an expression of the basic goodness of the universe, the basic energy of the universe. In Druidry, it straddles the line between what we would call Awen and Nuefre, between that creative breath that is blowing through the world and that energy that we can tap into. But it might be right to say that the wind horse in the Shambhala teachings is an expression of Nuefre. It is an expression of how you connect to that basic goodness and learn to ride it and learn to harness it and bring that energy into your life to help it to flow through all things and to practice the wonderful magic that is discussed in the Shambhala system. We're told that the element of wind reminds us of just how strong and exuberant this basic goodness of the world is. If you've not encountered this idea before, it is also present in Buddhism. Stop for a minute. Unless you're driving, if you're driving, pull over to the side of the road, or do this part of the exercise when you get home, or to a parking lot somewhere. Don't do this while driving. I want you to close your eyes for a minute and just slowly breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And just focus on your breathing. Anytime a thought or a feeling tries to distract you from your breath, just go back to the breath. No struggle, no fight. Just go back to your breath. And you'll notice something happening inside of you. Yeah, this is the beginning of a mindfulness meditation. This is how we start learning mindfulness. But do you notice something else? There's an ease. There's a sensation that a lot of people feel when they enter this mindful state. It might take you a bit to dig down into it. It might not be instant, but just breathe in and breathe out. Slowly at first, until you've been able to gather that focus on your breathing. Then let your breathing become more natural. Let it flow in and out, and you'll feel something. There are a lot of words for this. Basic joy, basic calm, basic goodness. All manner of words for what you're feeling. It's very present. It's at the heart and at the root of mindfulness. That's basic goodness. Now I, from a Druidic perspective, would tell you that you are touching the very edges of Awen. That this is like when you're a kid in the car and you stick your fingers out, not the full window, like the whole window isn't open, but the window's kind of cracked. And you kind of stick your fingers out and you feel the wind brushing against the tips of your fingers. Or you're standing by the edge of a stream and you just kind of dip your fingers in and you feel the water flowing by. That's what you're feeling in this moment. that basic goodness, that gentle flow of the Awen. This isn't like when the Awen hits us and we're raptured away into this creative fury. The Awen isn't there just then. It's always there. Everyone has a different name for it. Everyone has a different way of talking about it. And here, in the Buddhist and Shambala tradition, it's basic goodness. Because everything's okay. That moment in meditation that you get to where you just feel everything's all right. Now, imagine being able to ride that feeling. That's the image in Shambhala. That's the image of the wind horse. It's being able to get into that place of basic goodness and ride that current, to ride it forward and to stay on it and to harness that intrinsic power of the universe, that basic goodness for better. Is that a powerful image? Is that an image that moves you? It moves me. That's how we can start getting into the Atma. That's how we can start getting into basic goodness. And that's what we mean when we say riding the wind horse in the title here. It comes from this basic image. What would it mean if we could actually do that? Let's just think about this for a minute. Let's have a thought experiment. The whole idea of the Shambhala practice is we're trying to bring that realm of all the enlightened beings, the Shambhala, here to earth. The idea in Christianity is we're trying to bring the kingdom of God here. May your will be done on heaven and on earth as it is in heaven, right? In Kabbalah, you are restoring the world so that it will be made perfect in the world to come. A lot of us have this idea. We're trying to perfect things. Bodhisattva takes the vow so that they will not enter their final nirvana, their peri-nirvana, until all beings are enlightened. They're here for the long haul. They're going to be here until the end, until this golden age. In the Shambhala teachings, we're told that learning this practice of being able to ride that basic goodness is how we get there. Now, in Druidry, we don't have that per se. We can talk about Tir na Nog and the land of youth, the land of the living, that other world. It really is an other world. We're not trying to bring Tir na Nog here. I think you can experience glimpses of the other world here. We're not actually going to enter the other world until we enter the other world. We are trying to bring that inspiration, that Awen, into the world. We are trying to find the Maban, the child of light that has been stolen from the Divine Mother so that life can be restored to the land. In so doing, the story, we travel around to the four oldest creatures trying to find where the Maban has been hidden. Where's the child? Where did you hide? Where is he hidden? Where is he? But even that's not an eschatological idea, right? There's no end of the world. We don't know if there wasn't an end of the world. There's so little that has survived of Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Manx, Cornish mythology. We don't know if they ever had an idealized state or a cyclical universe, kind of like what happens after Ragnarok, where the old gods are dead and the three sons of Odin survive and recreate the world. We don't know. We don't even know if that's how that story originally ended. Because the version that we have was written by a Christian. And they could have just Christianized it. So we don't know. I like to think, when we look at the stories, we can see this balance. This ideal of balance between our world and the other world. Or the spirit in the material world. Where we're not always working for either the spiritual or the material. We're trying to bring the best of both together. That would involve riding the wind horse.
In addition to that, when I'm thinking about riding the wind horse, I found myself thinking about the word and how it breaks down to lung being space of the five elements, ta meaning horse being that transformation of purifying, of taking something bad and making it good. After thinking about it for a while, it dawned on me that in this practice, when I am riding the wind horse, when I'm actively doing this, it is the act of being mindful of the five poisons transforming them into the five powers. When I'm in a journey throughout my daily life, I try to be mindful of that. When I'm really engaging in that, I'm engaging in that transformative power. The five poisons are doubt, which we experience often. Even right now, I'm facing doubt. Laziness. Laziness is something that, we constantly wrestle against. It's okay to rest, but laziness is that overindulgence. Heedlessness.
Not paying attention to where you're going or what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Recklessly charging forth. Distraction. As one of the ADHD community members, yeah, distraction, definitely a poison, a challenge. And ignorance. Through Lungta, through riding the wind horse, this exercise, I look towards faith. His faith removes doubt.
The faith that we're talking about here in the Buddhist context is what I would consider true faith, and that's trust. It's, I have faith in my friends. It's, I have learned to rely on this, that this is reliable. It is an earned trust. It is not necessarily wish fulfilling trust. Now, the important thing is that it is built from what? You start with I'm going to test this and see if it works. But you only keep that faith once you've learned that it is trustworthy.
Proving all things, holding fast to that which is true. It is also that trust that comes from the hope that things will happen, but knowing that it might not happen in the way that you expect it to or the manner in which you expect it to. You do the effort along with that hope. It's hope plus effort.
Which is the second power.
Which is the second power. Energy. Energy and effort.
Virya.
Virya. Yeah, that effort. That's what controls laziness. When getting into the five powers, the five poisons, you'll realize one tends to lead to the other. Effort. That'll control that laziness. So it's okay to rest. We all need to take time to rest, to rejuvenate, to heal, to build our energy, our power back up. But that is different from overindulging in too much.
I would say it's differently. As somebody who has a lot of chronic pain issues in my life, I don't like this idea of overindulgence being the phrasing there. For me, I look at laziness as this inattentive use of energy. It's being a wild, broken power line that's just sparking around and not really doing anything. It's not allowing your energy to flow where it can flow, whatever little bits of energy you may have.
Yeah, it could also be obstructed or poorly applied energy or poorly applied effort, which flows right into the next one, that heedlessness as the poison or mindfulness as the power. In those moments when you're being heedless, when your energy is just randomly zapping out and you are electrocuting people around you, so to speak, that's when you want to give pause and be mindful, just being aware of where your energy is, how it is flowing. It is, in a way, that meditation Charlie had us do earlier. Just that simple breathing is a mindfulness and awareness that we're all on the wind horse. We're on it no matter whether we want to or not. It's called the journey of life.
Being in that present moment.
It's being in that present moment. We're there. Which then leads us to the next power is concentration, or the poisonous distraction. When you're finding yourself in those moments of distraction, mindfulness can help lead you back into concentration. So you take that pause, like when I have that, ooh, what's that? It's okay to take that moment, whatever, but I then have to be mindful and bring myself back into focus, back into concentrating on where my energy needs to be, what I am actually doing, choosing to do.
Yep.
Not reacting, but choosing to do in that moment. Which leads us to the fifth power, that's wisdom, which helps to control ignorance.
I think ignorance is one of the most important things in the world right now, because I feel like so many of our problems are people refusing to admit what they're ignorant about.
Very true.
Because we've turned ignorance into a vice. Ignorance isn't a vice, it's a poison. And it's one that's in the water.
It's all around
It's
us.
all around us. It's in the water. It's in the air. We're all ignorant of so many things. We're ignorant of so many things. We have no idea how many things we're ignorant of.
If the heedlessness and distractions in our lives
Yes.
leads us to our ignorance,
Yes.
we're distracted by clicking on this and clicking on that and watching this, watching that, and not being mindful and not concentrating on what we need to know, or knowing that we don't know a lot of what we need to know.
We're thinking that we know a lot more than we actually do.
Yeah.
That really is, in so many ways, the opposite of wisdom. Like, wisdom starts by knowing that you don't know. I forgot who said it, but admitting that you don't know is the beginning of wisdom. It really is. You have to start from the place of I don't know.
Yeah. This is where they flow back into each other, because faith allows you to go, I don't know, but I know I have faith that I can still do things. I can still be active in my life and in my community and have the energy to move forward. And with mindfulness and concentration, I can get more wisdom so that I can be wiser, but also at the same time have that faith that I can step out there and maybe be wrong, which is okay. That's part of learning. That's part of gaining wisdom and being wrong, and then admitting and being aware that you are wrong. Once you're made aware, you can then learn and grow and gain that wisdom.
We're going to be talking about the five powers a lot because they are the engine that spirituality runs on. It's important for us to have a very active understanding of how our spirituality works. All too often, we just pick up ideas and we put them down and we don't really know what we're doing with them. And this model of understanding really helps us to get to the root of it. We pick something up and that's faith. We just, does this work? Let's try this. When somebody tells you
Yeah.
do mindfulness meditation, it'll help you out, like I did earlier in this episode. Well, if you have just a little bit of faith of, okay, I'll try it. So you put in the effort, which will hopefully bring you mindfulness, literally in this case, where you become aware of what is going on, which allows you to concentrate and focus in, and then a little bit of wisdom. Oh, I did calm down. My mind did calm down. I did get a small taste of that basic goodness, that basic reality that is under all things. And that gives you trust, which is faith. And the cycle continues again and again and again. I don't believe that you can lose your faith. I hear people say this a lot. It's a very common phrase in English. I lost my faith in, I lost my faith in. You can have your faith betrayed. You can realize you never really had faith in something to begin with, but you can't really lose it. Unless trust is betrayed, it doesn't really go away. I know many institutions once had my faith and trust and then betrayed my faith and trust, and I no longer have faith in those institutions. I didn't lose my faith in those institutions. That's internalizing that feeling way too much. Those institutions betrayed my faith. They betrayed my trust. And so they no longer have it and have a lot that they would have to do to earn it back. These five powers, which are the engine that runs all spirituality, whether people are mindful of it or
It
not,
does. It really does.
help you get in touch with that basic goodness and learning to operate this machine. That is what writing the Lúnasa is. It's learning to operate this machine. It's learning to tap into that basic river, that basic flow of goodness, of life, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
that is running through all things. I hope that this episode has helped you out in some way. If nothing else, maybe give you something to think about. We are going to be talking about the five powers a lot. It comes up in a lot of what I talk about and write. I have an article up over on wisdomscried.com and on Creation's Path about the great work, inviting people to join me in that. And one of the sections of that is talking about how this actually functions within us and in our faith, and links out to other articles that I've written about the various aspects of the five powers. So definitely go check that out if this is something that interests you. And wherever you are, if you've liked this at all, if the app gives you the ability to like it, if you haven't followed or subscribed, do that. If you can leave a review. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review if you like us. It really does help out so much more than you know. They don't actually take listens into effect that much. They do pay attention to number of reviews and number of stars in reviews. So it really does help out a lot. If you've got a few pennies that you can throw our way, if you go over to christianspaths.com, you can sign up and get a paid membership over there. And that helps us out a lot, helps us keep these episodes coming to you, helps us with all of the things that we're doing, helps us pay for the basic necessities of life. And, when we put the classes out, you'll get first access to them. Thank you so much for listening, and may you tap into that basic goodness and learn how to write it a better world. Amen.
Amen.